everyone, it's Marissa from LittleHouseLiving.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make sun-dried tomatoes. There's two ways that you can make sun-dried tomatoes, and one is with the oven, that's how I'm going to show you today, and the other one is with the dehydrator. So if you want to make sun-dried tomatoes with the dehydrator, all you have to do is cut up the small tomatoes and put them in the dehydrator, and then leave them there until they're done. And those dried tomatoes you can store just in the pantry in a jar. The tomatoes that we're going to make today, you'll have to store either in the fridge or in the freezer. You can put them in the freezer and they'll last all winter. So the first thing you need to do is wash up your tomatoes, and you can use yellow or red little tomatoes. You can use grape tomatoes, pear tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, any kind, as long as they're small. And the best ones usually are the grape tomatoes because they have a little more meat on them than like a cherry tomato. Those are a little bit more juicy. The tomatoes with a little more meat are going to dry better and have more substance to them when they're dry. So first you want to wash them, and just like with any produce, you want to wash them with produce wash first, because it doesn't matter if they came from your garden or if they're organic. You still wash the dirt and the bugs and stuff away first. So you want to wash up your tomatoes first. Okay, so after you get your tomatoes all washed up, you're going to want to get your pans ready. And for pans, you want to use a pan with a little bit of a side like this, and not just a flat cookie pan, because you are going to be putting oil in these pans and you definitely don't want it to drip into your oven. So get your pans, and you probably want more than one. Since they take a while to cook, you're going to want to put more than one tray in the oven. We're going to spray the pans with just, this is my kitchen sprayer, it just has olive oil in it. You definitely want to get a lot of oil down on the pans so they don't stick. Otherwise, they'll get a little bit too well done and they'll start sticking to the pans and be really hard to get off. Alright, we got our pans ready, so now we're ready to start cutting up the tomatoes. These are my clean tomatoes, and you're just going to cut them into just small slices. You can usually get about 3 to each little tomato, just like that. And I've actually found that it works best to cut up the tomatoes with a steak knife, because the serrated edges cut through the tomatoes better. I know that there's a special tomato knife that you can get too. And they don't have to be pretty, they just have to get cut into slices. So then after you cut, we're going to take them over here to our pan and just start making rows of tomatoes in the pan. Okay, so here I have my tray with my nicely layered tomatoes, and we want to turn on the oven to 250, and then you want to just take regular olive oil and drizzle it over the top. Then sea salt, sprinkle that over the top. So that's it. So now these just need to go in the oven, and they do take quite a while in the oven, at least a couple hours. So you put them in and just watch them. These tomatoes don't get all the way dried, so you'll take them out when they're kind of starting to get dried around the edges and still look a little bit chewy in the middle. And then I'll show you what to do when they come. Okay, so while our tomatoes are baking, I just wanted to give you a little side note. You wear aprons when you make tomatoes like this, because tomatoes like to spit up all over you, and it's really messy and it ruins your clothes when it stays on there, so make sure you wear an apron. Alright, so my sun-dried tomatoes finally finished baking, and I let them cool off a while on the tray before I put them into bags. And how I store them is I put just kind of a small amount into the little sandwich size bags, and then I stick those inside of a larger freezer bag, and that way I can keep a couple small bags inside one freezer bag. You really only use a small amount at once, so you don't want to take out a lot anyways when you take it out of the freezer. So that's how I store them, and I put the date on and then keep them in the freezer. And they usually don't last long here. They're pretty amazing on pizza or on pasta. So that's how you make sun-dried tomatoes. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know.